I'm Vanessa Canvey, and 1 year ago, me, my husband and 2 kids moved from Scotland to Ghana. My husband took a year career break, and after that year, we're deciding, are we gonna stay or are we gonna go? So I'm gonna let you know a bit further on in this video. He is so cute. He's half Neapolitan Mastiff, half Borbal. He's gonna be 80 kg. He's only like 4 months old and already huge. But first of all, I had some questions that you sent in. Did your kids manage to adapt to the new education system? That is actually one of the most liked comments. So for the first half of that, yeah, my daughter, she was 4 when we arrived, and she just like seamlessly went into the new system. Although they were actually more ahead in terms of reading and stuff like that, she quickly learned how to read and write, and she's 5 and now she can read and write. The systems are totally different, but she managed to slot in basically easily, made friends easily.
Ghana is good. I like the weather.
You like the fact
Yes.
it's hot?
Yes.
Why?
Because it is very hot and it's warm.
Yeah, so every time we leave the house it's nice and
Yes.
warm. Love that as well, it's great. And anything else? What about the people?
The people are good.
What's nice about them?
Do you mean at school?
At school, yeah?
Yeah. At school, the people are very nice.
Oh, that's good.
They be good to the class.
My son had like best friends in Scotland, and it was a bit more, challenging because he's that bit older. He was 8. What age was he? He was 7 when we moved. He's about to be 9 now. So I think the younger the kids are, the easier, but now he's totally sorted, fit in and everything, made friends. But I just think it takes that little bit longer, and yeah, I was like stressed for a minute. How did you find moving to Ghana?
At the start, it felt a bit like, it felt hard. I didn't have a lot of friends, but now I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. And what do you like?
I like how I have a lot of friends in school, and I like playing in the playgrounds.
Oh, that's nice. How do you manage to stay disciplined and find balance? So I would probably say that when I was in Scotland, my schedule was totally different. So in a way, it was actually easier for me to shoot and edit because I came to Ghana for 2 weeks. I would shoot consistently. I was on my own, and then I'd come back to Scotland and I would edit the footage. Whereas now, obviously, I've got like life and everything whilst I'm shooting. There's so many extra things that you have to sort out here that take up so much time. So it's a bit more difficult to like fit in work. Also, it's so much hotter, so that also impacts like how much you could really do in a day. But overall, who wouldn't rather be in the sun than in the cold? And my own personal goals, I think moving country definitely has a toll on like yourself. So I think it takes a while to settle in, and then it's easier to like focus on goals and stuff like that. What has the experience been like for my husband and children? How has the adjustment been as an adult and children moving to a country they have previously limited experience with? Happy living here?
Yes.
Prefer living in Ghana to Scotland?
Ghana.
You prefer living in Ghana?
Ghana.
Why?
Because it's very warm.
Oh yeah.
And every time I go outside, I don't even need a jacket.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, me and her have like the same feelings, the same thoughts and feelings, don't we, about that? The biggest difference between living in Ghana and living in Scotland?
The heat.
Oh, the heat. So do you like it being hot?
Yeah, because I don't like it when it's so cold, if it's cold. Because if it's cold, I can't go outside and play with my friends.
And what about here? Do you get to play with your friends?
Yeah, I can do it like every day.
How has my husband adjusted to living in Ghana? My husband absolutely loves it here. After an initial, obviously before we got here, I had to I was obviously the driver of wanting to come here. He had a full-time career working in a really great job with like great package. You know how they try and lock you in when you're in like a full-time job. So obviously for him it was like a would I say risk? Not risk, but it was a big step for him to step out of that and come to working with me and living a completely different life. I've always lived like this. Like, I've basically hardly ever worked for anybody else. I've pretty much always worked for myself, always worked on my own hours. So I'm used to this life, but it was something new for him. And he actually loves it. The fact he gets to spend so much more time with the kids. He enjoys what he's doing. He really loves Ghana, loves the weather, has made like great friends. What else can I say? Like, he really, really enjoys it here. Like, obviously, Ghana comes with its challenges. Like, there's some days you could really, I mean, personally, I'm pretty patient. My husband's also patient, laid back, whatever. But if you're not patient and you're not laid back, it might not be the place for you, because you have to exercise a lot of patience many times a day. Would I do it all over again? 1,000%. Like, this has been a dream of mine since I was 16 years old. So it was a dream for over 10 years. So there's no way that I could have like gone through life without trying one of my biggest dreams. So I'm so, so glad that we made the move and made the decision to give it a try. Is your cost of living higher in Ghana or in Scotland? This is definitely a highly asked question, and to be honest, I'd probably say it's higher in Ghana than it was in Scotland, and that might come to a surprise to some people, but I think it just depends on your way of living. Like, of course, I could live here and I could probably spend next to no money. I mean, I know people that do it, but because the way we're living is very like comparable to the way that we're living in Scotland as to Ghana, it just makes it more expensive. For example, our electricity bill is probably 3 times the price of what it was in the UK, and I'd put that down to using air conditioning. Of course, if I had my own place, then I would have ceiling fans to reduce the cost of that. We own a house in the UK, so we didn't have to rent there, but the rent is comparable to what we would pay for the same house in the UK. One thing that is a bit cheaper for us, cheaper quote unquote, is school fees, but they're not cheap, they're just cheaper than what we were paying in Scotland. Food shopping, oh my gosh, do not get me started. When you're buying like whole foods, fruits, vegetables, things like that, I'd say they're cheaper, but actually sometimes they're actually not even that much cheaper. But things like coconuts that are readily available, mango can actually be like kind of pricey depending on the season. Things that you can get in the UK are just so much more expensive. For example, Rice Krispies were £12 in the shop. They're literally £2.99 in the UK. So if you want to buy, I mean, of course I didn't buy them, but if you want to buy those sort of things that you buy in the UK here, then the price is like sometimes 3 or 4 times the price. But you can obviously not buy all of those things, and you can live a very like whole food life reasonably. You can actually rent somewhere in cities outside of the city. You can live cheaper, but the way that we live is more expensive for us here in Ghana than it was in Scotland. What do you like the most about your experience living in Ghana after 1 year? So I'd say what I like the most is community, the sense of community. I have made some really great friends over this last year, and it's really different, in my opinion, like having friends here to having friends in the UK. I can't really put my finger on why, but I think the sense of community here is so, so strong that people are really around you, supporting you. Whereas in the UK, it's just not set up like that. Even, the fact that people are working so much, they're working so hard, and then you've not really got time to see friends or things like that. It's very sociable here. Like, people are always meeting up with kids. I have so many friends with kids now here. We all meet up, birthday parties, like every single weekend. So yeah, the sense of community, friends, and just people here I've found really, really nice. Love that. Another thing that I absolutely love is obviously the weather, the fact that any time of the day I can leave the house just not having to wear a jacket and, soaking in the sun. And even like somebody recently was saying, my skin, like my complexion's totally changed. Like I was so much lighter, obviously, when I lived in Scotland because I barely saw the sun. After 1 year of living in Ghana, what has surprised me the most? I think I was pretty used to the country because I've been coming here ever since I was 3 years old, every second year. Then when I got to 16, I was coming twice a year. So I've been so many times before I got here. So I would say there's not many surprises. One thing that I would say is that was probably really shocking to me, that has rattled me a bit, was when we moved into this new house, the water in the area is just constantly off. I was not ready for that because the previous house we lived in, it wasn't like that. Everything basically worked the way it was supposed to work. So now we've moved into a house where we have to sort out getting water to the house, which just is, you know what, it might not sound like much, but every 2 days we have to organize people to come here to fill up the tanks. And even just that simple thing, you could call people at 7 a.m. and they won't come till 8 p.m. and having to do that constantly is just like, it's actually really, really draining. So I'd say that's one of the biggest shocks. Also the price of electricity. I don't know why, I just never thought about it before I came here, but it's really high. And internet as well, so expensive. And we're on like a data bundle, it's not unlimited, which means that sometimes we have to top up twice. And that's like £200 a month for internet, because we obviously upload videos and we use a lot of data. I know there's cheaper options, we need to explore them. For example, I've heard MTN, we are with Vodafone, I've heard MTN have recently brought in an unlimited bundle that we're going to actually try because this is ridiculous. Would you feel safe to live in Ghana on your own? So I know so many people that live here on their own that aren't with a partner or family or anything like that, and they enjoy it. So I would say yes, I think it's safe. You know, I think anywhere in the world there's the same issues. Some places are higher than others in terms of like levels of safety, but I wouldn't say that Ghana's like a different level from other places. I wouldn't say it's like heightened level of safety. I don't even know how to say it. Has my 1 year stay been as expected? So to be honest, I thought I was going to come here and be able to work so much more than I have done. I expected to be so much more productive, and I found that it's just not as possible as I had in my head. So I'd say that's one thing that wasn't as expected, just because of all the things that need sorted out that take so much time. Like, things don't just work. Productivity is much lower than I expected it to be. I'm quite like an introverted person, and I don't really go out very much, like at night or meeting people and stuff like that. I've been brought out of my shell a bit, you know, meeting up with more friends, stuff like that. That's probably been an unexpected turn. Another unexpected thing is I had expected that I would have built a house by now. Obviously I've not built a house by now. And so that is like really like sad for me, but it's an unexpected turn that I didn't think would happen. So someone said, when I said I was moving a year on, do I wish I'd taken the advice that people had given me, especially when it comes to accommodation and planning? I'd say I planned pretty well. Accommodation, I think the first place that we rented, to be honest, for the first year was perfect for that first year. It was higher than I would have liked to pay, but I knew that I kind of had to take that cost for a soft landing. And it worked. Like, it was great. That house had never had any issues with the house. The landlord sorted everything out, so I'm really, really glad that I went with that. Yeah, I've not bought a house, but honestly, the people that comment, especially when I started renting this house, and they say, why haven't you bought a house? I'm like, where do you expect me to buy a house for the same price as 1 year's rent? Like, and mortgages aren't really a thing here. You can get them, but they're sometimes like, I think if I probably tried to take out a mortgage, like any normal sort of person, it would be like 30% APR, whereas in the UK it's like 1.5% APR. So it's not as easy as, oh, why didn't you buy a house? Yeah, in fact, I could buy a house with the same money, but I would be like traveling an hour and a half to the kids' school, or maybe 2 hours every single morning, and no thanks. Have you had to use your health insurance at clinic or hospital yet? That is another interesting one. As I mentioned to everyone, I used to have health insurance. But basically that didn't work out because the hospital that I went to didn't even take that health insurance. And then I was like, well, this is pointless because the place that I want to go doesn't even take this health insurance. So I ended up actually just doing pay as you go. And I've been several times, like I had an infection on my face that I spoke about before. I went to a place for that. I've had like my bloods done several times. My kids have been in the doctors several times, and I've just paid as you go. And it's been about 400 series for a consultation, which is about £40 or I don't know, $20. And then depending on like the treatment or the bloods or whatever, it'll be like another couple hundred series. So I've never spent over $100 going to the doctor. I think in total I've probably spent like, you know, no more than $500 for all of us going to the doctors for the year. Let's put it that way. And the health insurance I was paying, okay, I know it covers so many things. Do you know what? I'm going to look back into getting health insurance, but I just need to get one that works with the doctors that I want to go to. Okay, so change of scene. What are some struggles you have encountered when transitioning to life in Ghana? And how are you able to overcome those challenges? To be honest, traffic is intense. Like there is a lot of traffic and you just have to live with it, figure out when you're going to leave your house. Just like anywhere else in the world really, but there's a lot of traffic that I didn't really anticipate. Another thing I guess is like time. So things don't always go to time. Is that the right way to say it? So basically, if you ask somebody to come, a very common answer is, I can't tell you a time. So if you say how long you're going to be, I can't tell you a time is definitely like high up on the answers list. So you could be waiting days for some things, but you just have to get used to it and realize that that is how things work, and you just have to kind of go with it. Would I have done this earlier? I think that everything happens the time it happens for a reason. I don't think it could have been earlier. I don't think it could have been later. Like that, I guess that's just like, it's a question that can't really be answered because everything happens the way it happens. Another thing that's probably that has shocked me actually is like a couple of business encounters that I've had that haven't gone straightforward, and the way that I have resolved that is making sure that I try and do my due diligence. I've got like contracts, I've got a lawyer, and working, you know, like a business would work, and also just being like cautious of the people that I'm around and that I work with, because I'm quite like a sensitive person. So if somebody does something to me, it can really like damage the way that I feel. Work-life balance. So I'd say that I have a much better work-life balance, and my husband being here, because when we were in Scotland, my husband was working like a sort of 9-to-5 job, whereas here we're working together, so we have much more flexibility, time with the kids. And even like the fact that we went away last week on holiday, you know, before he would have had to ask his boss if he could take time off work and all that sort of stuff, whereas we could just go away, you know, every Sunday we try and do family time. We go to the beach, we go to the pool, we chill, we see friends. So I'd say the work-life balance is so much better here than it was in Scotland. Change location. I'm actually sitting on the floor right now. Someone said, I thought you moved back to Scotland. So last year when I was in Scotland, I did a video saying that I was in Scotland, but I was on holiday, and I was just on holiday for the summer, and I came back to Ghana. But people didn't watch the video through, and so some people thought that I lived in Scotland, but no, I live in Ghana. So my husband, someone said I never introduced my husband. Like, he's just not the sort of person that wants to be on camera. If he was, then of course I would do a video with him. But some of my family members would rather not be on camera, and I totally respect that and understand that not everyone's for everything. Are schools above or below par? Obviously every school is different. I'm really impressed with my kids' school. They're doing so well. I can't really speak for other schools. I'm sure there's other great schools. I think there definitely is other great schools in Accra and across Ghana as well. My kids go to an international school, but I'm sure there's also great government schools as well. Somebody asked if it's difficult, or was it difficult for me to open a bank account? This is Vanessa from the future. I didn't answer that question well, but yes, it was so difficult opening an account. And I had all the right documentation. I have my TIN number, which is my tax identification number, all that stuff. The problem was just the banks, basically. I just came across so many issues. One place, I tried to open it. First of all, you have to wait so long, and then there's all this paperwork. And then I had to have like 2 passport pictures, went away, got 2 passport pictures, brought them back. They said it was going to be so long. And then I went back, they'd lost the documents. Another situation, I gave all my documents. They have had and still have all my documents. Went back, they just didn't open the account. They said it would be opened the next day. This went on for months. Give up on that one. Finally, somebody I know had a relationship. They had like a private banker who managed to help me open an account. But really, someone said, is it tough without Prime delivery? What not having Prime delivery has taught me is that I don't need a lot of stuff. I used to order things that I most definitely didn't need, but there's just so many things you don't need in this life, and not having Amazon Prime teaches you that. I think the most glaring difference for us living in Ghana versus living in the UK is the weather, the people, also, like the fresh fruits and like abundance fresh fruits and vegetables that you can get here, that can grow here, that we love, like coconut, mango, all sorts. And I just think although life can be a bit more stressful sometimes, having to deal with certain things that you wouldn't have to deal with in the UK, overall, it's a much more like laid back life. Things are less restricted. There's less like constraints, which obviously has its pros and its cons. For me, I feel like there's a lot of pros. Like there's a lot of freedom here, whereas in the UK, like there's so much structure, which obviously is good for getting things done fast. But in terms of like living life, it's just actually so much more enjoyable living life here. There is obviously moments that are like, oh my goodness, like I'm having to deal with all of these things pretty long, but you figure it out. I'm probably really sweating because it's probably like 40 degrees up here. I'm in like the top of the house and it's so hot. So are we staying or are we going? Well, if you've been following the channel, you'll see that we recently just moved into a new house. So as you guessed it, we are staying. My husband left his like 10-year career of working in the same place to be here. And yeah, we're all really enjoying it. Of course, like there's moments when the kids might say, oh, I want to go back to Scotland for this or that. Or there's moments where I might think, is this the right thing? Just questioning myself. But overall, I really love it here. And I mean, I can't tell how long I'm gonna be here for or anything like that. But I'm taking, every year as it comes, and I'm really enjoying being here just now. I do, like, in one frame, I can see myself kind of being here forever. But in another frame, it's like, would I keep the kids in school here for their whole school journey, or would I like take them back to the UK for high school? Although to be honest, like I really think the kids growing up here is a great thing, and I think especially for my son, who is like 3/4 black. I know people don't like to like divide like that. He's around so many more people that look like him here. And I think that's so important, because the school he was at in Scotland was predominantly white. And so yeah, I mean, I love it here. Yeah, I might not be as productive as I might not be as productive as I was before. I might not have as much time to do what I need to do, and I have more time spent on just like organizing the basics of life. But that's what I chose. So please do hit that subscribe button and let me know if you've got any more questions, and maybe I can do a part 2. Let me know what you want from my channel. I've been really considering what sort of videos I should make going forward. And what do you think of my hair? Honestly, he took so much time and effort doing this. It was like, literally, he was pretty much using a ruler. See you later. Please do hit that subscribe button and press the bell so you're notified every time I make an upload. I appreciate you coming with me. I'm now on 150,000 subscribers, which is just incredible. And yeah, I'm so, so grateful for you all. See you later. Bye.
Just the other day, saw you looking my way. I start to contemplate moments that went to